Warriors around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fogging up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't called gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my sweat, put on my beat, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between, know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rep, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm by their chains for the fame. Never thought I would it, now I'm running. You don't wanna follow me, I'm fucking front.
What's going on? What's going on? Good evening, happy holidays or happy post-holidays. Welcome to another broadcast of Steve the Kidney Nurse. I am your host, Steve Belcher, and tonight, let me tell you, you guys heard me talk about in the past shows about patients being blackballed from dialysis units, right? You heard me in the past talk about it on my show. Well, tonight, I have a special guest. This brother been through the ringer. And when I mean been through the ringer, I think for most average people who may have dealt with what Mr. Hall has dealt with, probably succumb to kidney disease, or not actually to the disease, but to the complications. Because once you get blackballed for whatever reason, and let's not forget, approximately 1,000 kidney patients are involuntary discharge from their dialysis facility. It's a minute number. In fact, if no one said anything to you, you probably wouldn't know unless you knew the individual who got blackballed. This is not something that's broadcasted, but it's something that's happening. There's been a lot of talk, you can Google it, about involuntary discharge, but tonight we have an actual plaintiff who sued these guys and won his case. So without further ado, let's give him the VIP welcome. And first, before that, I want to say hello to Coach Tierra Johnson, Patrice Jefferson, Patrick Caesar, and Steve Graham. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. God bless you. So without further ado, let's hear this unimaginable story. And what would you do if you was in Larry's shoes? What would you do? Let's hear his story. Let me bring Mr. Larry. Hey, Larry, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, bro. I'm hanging in there.
Man, it's good to see you, man. First, I want to thank you, man, for coming on the show tonight and to share your amazing story. I wanted to know, how did you find out about me?
I was I'm always on TikTok and Facebook. And about a month ago, I was going through TikTok, and I seen you on, and I said, wait a minute, he's talking about kidneys. And then I started listening to what you were saying, and I said, oh my God, this guy is talking about everything I went through,
Mm.
everything. I mean, you talk about the way we being treated, how we get discharged, and what to look out for, and what we go through, and everything. I said, this guy is telling the truth. And all these years, I done a video myself on Facebook about 5, 6 years ago about this.
Mm.
It didn't get nowhere, you know. I just got so frustrated because I couldn't get nobody get to talk to people, and I seen people get kicked out, heard of people getting kicked out, and they don't last. You don't last at all. When I'm telling you, you die, you die, you know. And shit,
Wow.
I mean, and when I seen you, it's just a blessing, man. I said, oh my God, this guy is saying everything I've been saying, you know.
Right, right. Well, thank you, Larry. Unfortunately, man, my 37 years in doing this, I done seen some injustice in this field. I mean, I done seen some injustices, and mainly to people of color, unfortunately. I mean, it's just unimaginable what I've seen, and companies get away with what they get away with. But Larry, let's go back to the beginning of how all this started. I mean, when did you first get diagnosed with kidney failure or
Uh,
kidney disease?
in June of 1998, just after I got hurt on the job in '97 and retired, and I had some kind of bone disease in my wrist, and I was out. And then the next year, that's when I got sick, and I caught pneumonia, and I had a high blood pressure. My blood pressure got real high. Couldn't find out my kidneys failed,
Mm-hmm.
and it told my doctor, and that's one of the worst feelings. That's one of my worst feelings of you can hear from a doctor. You just think your life is over with. And so I had a good doctor. This my nephrologist. I was going to him before I got on dialysis. You know,
Okay.
and that's kind of helped me out a lot. But then I started at this facility. It wasn't owned by Davita, then it was owned by a doctor. And I started treat. Didn't know nothing about it. And this is the main thing people need to know, and tell you, and family members, or patients or family, when you go get first day of dialysis and you have signing in, you signing in a stack of papers. You signing your life
Mm-hmm.
away. You giving them the right to kill you. And
Mm.
that's no
That's
lie.
a strong statement.
That bro, I got the paperwork. It's one of them called the reuse. They back then they was using reuse. This sheet
Right.
is
I
right here.
remember I was working
And
in
right down here,
dialysis.
it's three things circled right here.
Okay.
One of them is that you signing off that they can give you the wrong dialyzer. One of them is saying that you may get chemicals left in that dialyzer. And it's another one too. But you sign off in the back of there that it's a sign off saying that you agree and you don't agree. Right on top, right here. On this here. I sign off. I don't agree.
Move. Yes.
Yeah.
Come over a little bit more. Right. Right. Yeah, I remember those
Okay.
forms.
Right. Okay. Now, this is at another facility. When I 2 or 3 years later, Davita bought it. They noticed that I wouldn't do reuse. Okay. They started harassing me.
Okay, wait a minute. Before you get to that, let's kind of go back. So you got diagnosed with kidney failure
Hmm.
and in '98,
Right.
and then once you got discharged from the hospital, you went to the dialysis unit, which doctors owned at that time. I
Right.
remember doctors' practices before these big
Right.
companies came in and brought them out.
Right.
And so, in that practice, were they doing reuse before the Vita?
Yeah, they're doing reuse too.
You signed, because I seen a paper where if you don't want to do reuse, you don't have to. But
Right.
if you want to, you can, and they'll give you up to so many numbers at one point. So now, when the Vita comes in, they go back over all the paperwork and want people who are not on reuse to go
Right.
on reuse. And so
Correct.
that's when you said no, and that's when your problems began with this company.
That's where my problem started. They for every seemed like once or twice a week, the head nurse or the administrator would come in and harass me,
When you say harass you, give us some examples.
telling me, "Well, Larry, why you won't sign it? The reuse is better for you and this and that." I said, "I don't want it." I said, "I don't want it." I said, "I read up on it." I say, "By law, I'm entitled. We are all entitled to a brand new dialyzer, and I don't want to reuse, you know." And they just kept on harassing me. And then I started noticing that things started happening to me, and then, I can just tell the machines wasn't set up right. I was feeling sick. And then one particular time, a technician was sticking me. Well, another nurse couldn't get the needle in. So this other technician came in and said, "I can do it." And grabbed me another needle, reached up and grabbed another needle. And he pushed this needle through my arm. I screamed and hollered. I didn't know what was going on. I never felt anything like that.
All right,
When,
Larry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but is this the wait a minute, is this the needle you're referring to right here?
the buttonhole needle, the one in the ray pack.
So wait a minute. So guys, I want you watching this show. Wait a minute. So what happened with Larry, you can't see the actual needle, but the needle is a blunt needle. It's not a sharp needle like this.
Right.
This is what the type of needle that patients with access in their arm get stuck with, right? But his was not sharp.
Right.
And it was blunt, correct, Larry? It
Correct.
wasn't the correct needle for your access. It was for a buttonhole.
For a buttonhole, a hole already there, a hole that they make. You have to keep making it, keep sticking it.
Right.
To make a hole there.
And let's see, and this is the damage that they did to your arm.
Damage, yes. And when that happened, as soon as it happened, my arm started throbbing. And I started complaining. I was crying, really, and I just kept crying. I said, "What in the world going on? I never felt this before, And that night, it kept swelling up. So I called a technician who was working there, and I was telling her about it. And she said, "Larry, you need to go get seen." So I called back out there. Then I called my doctor, and he sent me to the surgeon. And they looked at it. And I came back to the Davita. They done a culture thing on it. Found out it's infected. And I told them, I said, "Well, what happened?" They kept telling me I was thinking they kept telling me it was a bunch of bad, dull needles. That's the lie they told me. And I said, "How in the world?" And me thinking about it, saying, "Well, a bunch of dull needles, how often do this happen?" So I started doing research on it, trying to find out, do they ever make a bunch of dull needles when they're making needles, And I said, "This don't make no sense." I couldn't find nothing on it. And so I said, "Okay." I let it go with that. And then my arm messed up completely. You see the hole in there. It got bigger. They had to go and do surgery.
Didn't you say after you did surgery, you went back and they redid it again?
The next month, right up under there, another nurse, another technician, because I was raising sand. I kept telling them I was mad. I said, "This is not right." I said, "Why? How can y'all put a dull needle and do this?" And they say, "Oh, no, don't worry about it." And then so the next month, when this was healing up, they done it again. This was a female technician. She pushing it in and done the same thing. And I really just said, "Oh my God." I said, I give up. I give up. I mean, this don't make no sense. Same thing, throbbing, everything. And right when it happened, another technician, she was going to school to be a nurse. And she said, "Mr. Hall, I know you're in pain." I said, "Yes." I said, "They stuck me for another dull needle." She said, "Yeah, I know it." And she said, "It is a dull needle because it's supposed to be dull." I said, "What you mean?" She said, "That's a buttonhole needle they stuck you with." I said, what you mean by that? She said, she reached in the trash can and got the wrapper, which was the red. I said, oh my God. I said, look in the cabinet, see if they got any more. She looked in the cabinet. I said, give me another one. And I put it in my bag. And
Yeah, and they are, and the thing is, the buttonhole needles are labeled in red.
labeled in red.
Got the red right, and that's how you tell it's a buttonhole needle, how you don't mistake it from any other needle. And it got the green clamp on it.
Correct. And right after that, I went straight, the next day, right back in the hospital again, more surgery again. And I caught hell, completely hell with this surgery, with this.
Larry.
And then,
let me stop you for a second, man. And I just can't imagine, and I'm sorry, but look, Larry. So, how important would you stress to people going to dialysis right now to know their treatment orders? How important is that so the same thing wouldn't happen to them? Like knowing what size needles you use, not just knowing the color of them, but knowing if you're on a 16 gauge, a 15 gauge, or 17 or 14. How important is that to know?
Very important. You ask, you see it. Ask to show you the needles in the package. They got the package. Before they start doing it, let you see it. Any meds they give you, tell them to let you see it. Because I can tell you stories about meds I've gotten and meds I didn't get on dialysis. You know? And the thing about these facilities, they get a little funny when you question them, when you ask things about your health. And that's what started happening to me. They started really harassing me and doing things to me when I started questioning what they're doing, why they're doing it. A lot of stuff I didn't even catch until I got sick. There are times couple of times they gave me intravenous iron. I didn't never supposed to get no iron. My hemoglobin was so high. They gave it to me. I got sick when I got home. And another, I used to have to be buddies. I had a friend, and I tried to be buddies. We looked out for each other. That's what we do. We sit beside, we look at. And I say, if you see them give me any meds, if I'm asleep, wake me up or let me know. And one particular day, one of my friends, they said, I got home. I felt funny when I got up the steps. What in the world? And my friend called me when I got home. She said, Larry, I tried to call and wake you up before you left. They gave you some iron. I said, oh my God. I said, I'm sick as a dog. So I called back and asked the technician, I said, did y'all give me iron? And they said, yeah. I said, I wasn't supposed to be getting no iron. They said it was a mistake. So I called my doctor up. He wrote in my document, please do not give me iron again. The next week, they tried to do it again. And we called her. I called her. Me and the other person called her. And the nurse, when she gave it to me, and we called her, I swear, took it off, screwed it off, and I got 10, but I don't know how many milligrams I got of it. Because I was asleep, and the other person woke me up and said, Larry, they're giving you iron again. And I woke up, and I said, oh my God. And they stopped and took it off and threw it in the trash. I called the head nurse over. And she tried to say, oh, but he ain't getting 2 milligrams of it or something like that. I said, I wasn't supposed to be getting it anyhow. It's documented. So I wrote them up for that. I called it file grievance on that, you know.
So, Larry, let's get to the meat of the show. Now, how did it get to the point where they wanted you to leave?
Well, not only that, it was another time too that now they didn't want me back then. They didn't want you to look at your medical file, but by law, you're entitled to look at all your medical files, your flow sheets and everything. All back then, they've handwritten your flow sheets out. So, and I said, when something would go wrong, I said, let me hold my flow, give me a copy of my flow sheet, see what's going on, you know. And one particular time, they that about the heparin. I was supposed to be getting heparin for 3 whole months. I was sick. I was clotting out. Now, imagine this, and I know you know, because I heard you talk about it. You're clotting out, And when you clot out, all your blood is left in the line and everything. This was happening to me off and on every treatment, close to every treatment. And I was losing blood. I was getting weak and weak and weak. And then when one particular technician is a male, he said, "Larry, I'm gonna put you on today." He knew what was going on, and he couldn't come out and tell me. So he said, "Larry, I'm gonna put you on. I got the word. I'm gonna put you on today." So as soon as he started hooking me up, he said, "Well, Larry, where's your helping at?" I said, "What you mean?" So, months ago, when I was giving you was getting helping the whole time, but now you're not getting it. I said, "Why not?" And he opened up the medical thing. He said, "Well, they stopped giving you helping 3 months ago." I said, "Well, hell, that's when I started being sick. That's when I started clotting up." And so I didn't raise hell. I just kind of called them head people, the head nurse and all of them. They tried to cover it up and everything. And couldn't find out. First lie they told that. I told them not to give me helping. Then that didn't work. And we had a meeting. Father Grease had a meeting with him. And then I got there in front of the nurse who said that. Matter of fact, they don't know. But I taped her conversation in the meeting. She started crying and saying, "Larry, I swear I wouldn't want to hurt you. It's just a mistake." But then they went back and told the state that it was a computer error. But the state still cited them for that. But in the meantime, everything just they kept doing stuff to me. And then I just finally went on and drew up a lawsuit against them.
And so when you filed the lawsuit, then that's when they asked you to leave.
When I tell you that I changed shifts. I changed from day shift. They opened up the evening shift like the evening shift. They put me in spots where the TV wouldn't work. They stopped setting me places. They set me by the back door, exit door, so I wouldn't be able to talk to nobody. Just doing all kinds of stuff. Just harass me big
making your treatment unpleasant.
Unpleasant. And one time I have a behavior contract. You heard about them, right?
No, well, yeah, I heard that they drew a behavioral contract.
Yeah, this is what they wrote about me, and the reason why they wrote a behavior contract.
Could your buddy read some of that?
Yeah.
What's his? I forgot his name. I'm bad with names.
Reggie.
I'm sorry, Reggie. I'm sorry, Reggie.
Okay, just read it. Read what they say.
Okay, this behavior contract review with the patient on the floor. Betty Martin presents from Davita. Larry has refused multiple attempts at setting up a meeting to discuss his health care. He states that he does not want to talk to anybody and refused to meet with us as a team from Davita, physicians and staff. He has been very angry towards the staff on multiple occasions. He has had outbursts and anger and frustrations, and now he has put a sign on his seat stating not to be disturbed unless for medical reasons. He states that he wants to be left alone, listen to his music, and just get his dialysis treatment. I met with Larry to discuss several options with him and provide this behavior contract. Please see contract. He refused to acknowledge and contract, and therefore I read it word for word to him while he is on the dialysis machine. I provided copies of this and left it in his bag, but he stated he would not take it with him. He fully understands all that is within the behavior contract, and that this may lead to dismissal from the dialysis facility if his behavior continues. Before I reviewed the behavior contract with him, I attempted to discuss his anger at all those involved with his health care. He stated that nothing we can do can make him happy. He stated that he has no faith in man. I reviewed with him prior to this contract that he does have options. I explained to him that our goal is to provide him an environment that is safe, but also one that he feels comfortable in providing his dialysis care. I provided options of going to an alternative dialysis facility, either in Burgar or Charlotte, but the same behavior contract will be placed at that environment. In addition, I offered 2 other dialysis companies to provide him care, including Warsaw or Myrtle Beach, with the representatives RAI and is it Facinas? Okay, the patient states that he shall wish to come to Wilmington, but does not want to discuss anything further. He became very okay.
All right, let me stop right there. All right, so Larry, some things in that contract. So I remember you and I had a discussion, and you had mentioned that they had wanted you to argue with them, and you kept quiet. So they lied and put in the contract.
Yes, that was the contract.
And said you had anger issues.
You know why the anger issue? Because every day at most treatment, they'll come to me. I'll be asleep, listening to music, waking me up in front of other patients, harassing me. Won't you just leave? Won't you just leave? This is what they're telling me. And I kept saying, please leave me alone. So I not only that, I put on a T-shirt. Please do not disturb me. I put a sign on my desk. Please do not disturb me unless for medical reason. So they got pissed off. And not only that, I set a recorder on my desk. That's what really pissed them off. I say, why? I said, because y'all are harassing me. Y'all saying things to me. You got the other patients scared of y'all to back me if I say y'all say this to me. I said, so I got to record it. If you want to say anything, just go ahead. It comes on automatically. That's when they wrote this behavior contract.
Wow. Now let me ask you, Larry. Man, that was a lot. So why wouldn't you? Some people may ask, why didn't you just transfer and go to the other facilities that they found for you?
Well, they had one in the other towns, they say. But the truth is, they already done blackballed me. Nobody would take me. The close at the end, I talked to CMS, ESD, our network. That's when they came up because they said I couldn't go nowhere else. They say, well, the closest place you can go now is Myrtle Beach with Fresenius. But that was a trap because if I would have went down there, I asked them, I said, well, how am I supposed to get down there every day? You're not going to believe this. They told me, well, we have a van to come pick you up on the side of the road. This is God-heavy truth. I ride from here to another, each county, I had to go through 3 counties. And each county I had to go get put out, stand on the highway for a van to pick me up to take me all the way to Myrtle Beach. And I told them, it must be crazy. And this is what EDS told me. Yeah.
Now, that, man, it's just shocking to hear that what they wrote in that behavior contract, and you didn't sign it, correct?
No, I didn't sign it. I never signed anything. I want to, because what happened, the reason why I stopped signing stuff, because even when I left, even when my clotted out, what's the form they call that when you sign off early?
The AMA.
I stopped signing them because that you giving away, if they like when they didn't give me heparin, if I would have signed off, if I would have died and signed off, I was relieving them of my death, because I signed off saying I signed off because I'm relieving them from any thing that happened to me. And I noticed that was going on when you signed it. I told them I never signed another one, and I wouldn't. And they're going to put the X there and put their signature on it. But it's a lot of little stuff, man.
Right, Izzy, it depends. Some doctors may not write an order for heparin. Right. So it depends on the physician. I was just answering the question somebody put. But Larry, what I wanted to ask you, do you think that the people in this facility found you intimidating because of your size and your color?
No, it was this. I got along with most of the staff, and truly, most of the technicians looked out for me. Majority of how I got a lot of paperwork, a lot of documents, is from the staff. They knew that management was harassing me. They knew I didn't do it. That I never, ever cussed anybody out. Never done anything wrong, you know. And that most of the staff knew, the ones that know me knew I was down to earth. But the point was, they had a manager, the nurses there, not the head nurse and the head person. They had a thing against me. They wanted to bring the anger out of me. But I say my prayers every day I go in there, you know. And when they talk to me, talking junk, I just put a smile on my face. And that's it. And so by me smiling and not saying anything, they figure I'm angry, you know, I'm an angry black man, you know, which I wasn't, you know. And that's how they figure. I would never. And I have a document on here on the what you call the state, when they came and done an interview and research what happened, and they got down, they documented that they haven't seen any record of me being Rich, can you read this thing? It's on this here funny. Read this in the yellow right here. Read this right here. And they stated that it was a document right down here.
There was no documented evidence available for review at the facility regarding the coordination of services with the aforementioned local care. There was no documented evidence that this patient had displayed any threatening behavior to staff.
Now that's what the state say.
Wow. Oh, because they said you had all these outbursts and stuff. They supposed to have documented that stuff, and they never document, but they put it in the behavior contract.
That's right. And not only that, they put it in the document when they put me out.
So that means if you try to go to any other facility and you present the documents or whatever, then that you blackball.
I'm blackball.
But no one don't have to accept you.
And this is another one. This is the letter. This is what I got. 1 day notice. Still a 30-day notice. This is a 1 day notice they sent me through FedEx Express when they put me out, illegally put me out. Can you read the state? And this was another reason why the state say that they violated my rights, because they didn't give me a 30-day notice. They gave me a 1 day notice. And they sent it by FedEx Express. I had dialysis that Monday, that Wednesday, that Thursday. FedEx Express brought that letter to me. And I was supposed to be dialyzed the next day. They gave me a 1 day notice.
Oh, what does it say, Reggie?
Okay, as we discussed with you last week, and again the morning of January 14, 2008, New Hanover Regional Medical Center will not be able to provide.
That's not
the wrong one.
That's not the right one.
Okay.
Oh, there's another one. I'm sorry. That's another one. There's another one I got. What happened? It's mixed up in that too, because what happened when I got put out of Davita found out I was going to the hospital, and they kind of like told the hospital, and so in the words that I was coming there illegally, and so I had to get put out of there for 30. I got put out of there. I had a 30-day notice from that too.
Wow.
But not only that, that's when the crazy thing people need to know. When I got put out of there, and any patient get discharged, any patient get discharged, they're really in a situation that you go to ER, you're not guaranteed 3 treatments a week no more. Your potassium level have to be a 6. And if it's not a 6, they roll you back out the door.
Then you say that happened to you?
That happened to me 3 times.
And you had fluid on, but they wouldn't dialyze you unless your potassium was high.
I had 16 pounds of fluid on me.
How much?
16 pounds.
Jesus.
And my potassium level was 5.5.
So it was right on the borderline.
Right on the borderline, but I had 16. And this is the crazy thing. When I was in the room, you know, in the ER, and I heard the doctor telling the nurse, look here, I'm tired of him coming in here every week. He need to go move out of town like they told him to. And because I'm not going to call his doctor. I'm not going to call his nephrologist. And you just give him the stuff, he got to go.
Wow.
And that was the third time. And I said, oh, my God. And so when they rolled me out, and that's when I called.
Wow. How did that make you feel when you heard that doctor say that?
You didn't know that.
How did you feel when you overheard it?
I was really upset because right when after that, when I got rolled out in a wheelchair, I called a friend of mine.
They rolled you out in a wheelchair?
In a wheelchair. That's the third time. First couple of times I called my doctor, and he got me straight. The third time I couldn't get up with him, so I called Eileen and another attorney I had up in New York, and they finally got up with my doctor, and he called up to the dialysis unit and told them to go get me, and they came down there and brought me up.
Wow.
But the point of it is, there was an inmate in there with guards. When I was going there, they're taking him up to the dialysis treatment to get treatment. Now, the people don't realize this. A prisoner have more rights than I did. By law, by day law. A prisoner must be dialyzed. But when it comes to me, I have to be about to die to get dialyzed after I get put on the dialysis unit. We get put on the dialysis unit.
Wow.
And that's the law.
And see, this is why I do some of the shows that I do, to let people know that incidents like this happen. Just because it don't happen at their facility or they never seen it before doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And that's why, you know, with these big, large chain clinics like Davita and Fresenius, you got to watch out now, because now the people they're hiring don't even have any type of people skills, any type of training. I mean, Larry, you talked about that on one of the interviews, that these new people that are coming in now and working in dialysis don't have any etiquette, no empathy, no compassion, no nothing.
And while you're saying that, when my arm was, even though right after I got put out, my arm really got swollen up, really got messed up. That's the second time. It swelled up real big. And I went to one of my surgeons, and he said, Larry, I'm going to be honest with you. He's an older surgeon. He said, I wouldn't touch your arm with a 10-foot pole. He said, that's God-heavy truth. He said, your arm is so messed up. He said, I can probably work on it, but it's not even worth it. He said, you need to go to Chapel Hill or Duke. My arm was swollen up just like that. I mean, real big. Hands and everything. I could show you the pictures of my hands. And
this is unbelievable.
And let me tell you this. This is one of my, this is how my hands was.
Wait a minute, Larry. Let me put you solo. All right.
See how, wait a minute. You see how the small one is a regular arm hand?
Right.
Other, see how swole up that was? That's
wow.
But so I had to go up to Duke to get them to look at it. But that was another story. But in the meantime, when he was telling me this, he said, Larry, I'm going to tell you this. He said, all the work, surgery we do putting in these fistulas for y'all, taking time, hours to put them in. It don't take 2 minutes for a technician to tear it up. Now, this is what he told me. He said, if I advise you, never let another technician stick you again.
Wow.
Now, this is what a surgeon told me. And he was not lying. He's not lying.
So Larry, so you went to court. How many days was the case?
We had a jury trial. But
how many days?
5 days. But guess what? None of the media wouldn't take it, Ron.
Uh-oh. Soon as he said, I'm sorry. Oh, unmute your mic. Your mic. Unmute your mic.
You feel that? You back there?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
You said none of the news stations would take it.
Well, because it was a story before, when it first happened, I went to a news, one of the local media. Yeah, they came and interviewed me about what happened. And when they was getting ready to air it, Davita told them not to air it.
What?
I swear. The reporter told me they were told not to air it. That's what the reporter came. They came to my house to interview. She came to my house to interview me.
See, this is what I try to tell people. I mean, I worked for the company 19 years. And like I said, I done seen some stuff at a facility where one Davita took up the whole clinical floor and nothing but left a cement slab there. Patient came to dialyze. The machines are on cement slab. I'm not talking about linoleum floor or treatment floor. I'm talking about concrete slab. Now, if that ain't what's the word? A travesty, I don't know what is. You got cement dust, concrete dust all in the air, patients on dialysis. Like, who does this?
Yes. It's unbelievable. The stuff,
Let's show those pictures. Wait a minute. I am going to interrupt you. I got my guy, buddy, man, they used to work with, Lamont. He's a dialysis tech. And I just wanted to show him these pictures. Lamont, look at this, man. They stuck Mr. Hall with buttonhole needles. Dude, with buttonhole needles. Me and him, we work side by side in Baltimore and DC. And as I said, here go the red. These are buttonhole, and he know, like, how can somebody, if you work in dialysis, you don't make no mistakes like that.
No. And the thing about it.
No, I'm just going to say, only time you make mistakes like that if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. And in this job, there's no gray areas for that. But I'm sorry, what did you already say?
It's that they're not properly trained. They're not properly trained, and the thing about it, just like you were saying before, now it's been a while since I've been to a unit, but back then there was four patients to a technician. That's to a technician.
Oh man, you haven't seen nothing yet. Some places in North Carolina, they do 7 to 1.
Well, guess what? Now at a hospital I'm at, there's only 2 patients to a nurse. Right there, that nurse is there the whole time, watching you.
Yeah, and speak about that, Larry. So, right. So you won your case. Now, what does that mean for people who watch it? So you got blackballed by Davita. You're not able to go to any other facility within that North Carolina region. You had to go to Myrtle Beach, which is in South Carolina. Now, what does the winning that case means for you, other than monetary damages? What does it mean for your clinical care?
Well, what it means that if it wouldn't, I wouldn't be here right now today, because the care I was getting at Davita, I would have been dead by now. I know it would have. I just know that, you know, because right after I left there, I started feeling better. And then I started watching what the nurses do and what they were saying. And it makes sense. They say, Larry, you don't supposed to be in no pain while you're on the machine. I've been going to the hospital now going on 12 years. No pain. That's no lie. You
Wow.
shouldn't be in pain. You should not be in pain. If you're in pain, something is wrong.
Right. We had a question from Coach Tierra Johnson. She asked, how did you survive in between time when you couldn't get to the hospital because your potassium wasn't at that critical juncture? How did you stay alive? How did you survive, man, with 16 pounds of fluid on?
My nephrologist, one of the best in the world. I got two of them. Well, I got more than two of them, but just two of him. My main one, Dr. Moore and Dr. Robinson, they really saved my life because they listened to me. And when that was happening, I had to stay in the hospital 2 to 3 days a week. I had to stay in the hospital 2 to 3 days a week so I can get my 3 treatments.
This was in North Carolina, correct?
Yeah. And then I come back the next week and stay 2 or 3 days in the hospital so I can get my 3 treatments.
Oh, so they was admitting you.
Yeah, it made me till I went to court. Yeah, till I went to court.
Okay.
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have made it. There's no way in the world I would have made it.
Right. Yeah, thank God for your nephrologist, man.
Yeah, yes, the best in the world. When I tell you the best in the world, he saved my life. You know, he really did, and still saved my life right now. He's one of the and I tell anybody, if you're on dialysis, if you got a nephrologist not gonna listen to you, you better find another one. You better find you one that will, because that's your life right there. My nephrologist, anything I tell him, he listen to me, because this is your body. Your body's not like everybody else's body. Your body gonna run different, you know.
So Larry, so what does this court order now mean for you? You're able to go to the hospital 3 times a week.
Well, yeah, I've been going 3 times a week until about 2 years ago. Now I go 2 times a week, because what I done, I mentally start losing weight. You know, I went on a diet and I started losing weight. I lost over 120 pounds.
Oh, congratulations, brother. Wow.
And now, after I done that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the trick was I done it. And then after that, I noticed that 3 days a week was kind of taking me down. And I asked my doctor, my nephrologist, I said, look, can I try 2 days a week? Because I noticed I was going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But from Friday to Sunday, I started feeling better. And I said, I think I'm going too much because it's dragging me down. And he said, well, try it. We try it. As long as your lab work come back fine. It's been 2 years, my lab work been coming back good.
Awesome. And Larry, are you eligible for a transplant?
I probably will. I probably am now. Since I left Davita. Davita wasn't lit because they tried to blackball me, you know.
Have you considered? We had a question.
No, I wouldn't do it now. I wouldn't do it now.
Right.
You know, I feel good.
I can respect that. I mean, it's another treatment option.
Yeah. But I just not changing the subject, but I think I sent you a document, and I told you that they took the document off the internet.
Yeah, talk about that, about the barriers that you feel like you may have been part of, and that a lot of Black males are experiencing between 18 and 44.
This document right here, I think I sent you a copy of it. It's 18 pages. It's a study, one of 2 or 3 studies they done. And they say this was going to be the last study, because what they're saying that majority of patients, mostly Black patients, 18 to 44, were being discharged from facilities, just throw it out to the streets. And they say that can you read this, Reggie? I got it marked in yellow.
And you recently had eye surgery, correct?
Yes, I had eye surgery. I had 2 cataracts taken out last week. Would you read about how we talking what they're saying about what they are doing to us? Most of the men when we get put out, and they know they done a study on this. This is a study they done, and they at the end of the study that they know we get put out. In so many words, they know we're gonna die. It's nothing else to be done. And I tell you, just read that last. Read that. Yeah, you can read. Yeah, go ahead and read that.
Okay. It is important to learn more about the potential reasons for the disproportionate demographics identified. For example, understanding the reasons that the younger population is more at risk for placement or discharge. Issues may assist the network in developing tools and resources for facilities. Likewise, understanding cultural differences and having a tool and/or in-service training programs available for staff also help to address some of the racial barriers.
Now this is the one. That up there.
Okay. The ability to collect information regarding the barriers to placement and involuntary discharges is important to continue and to understand the complexities of the problem. It is believed that many problems may magnify with the coming of pay for performance.
Yeah. But what they're saying that even back then, they're saying that it's gonna get worse. But they don't. This is the last study they done, and they didn't do any more studies. And it's only gotten worse. Like you said, it's up to 1,000 black males get put out and die a year.
No, 1,000
once
people.
We get put out, 1,000 people, yeah. But once we get put out, that's it. There's no safety net. No safety net. Not even in the ER,
You're right. I actually know a couple of people that happened to that are no longer with us. So that's why I'm a staunch advocate about that, because I personally know a couple of people that happened to, and unfortunately, they couldn't be successful in taking them to court and going through all that.
Hold on 1 minute. Rich, this is the one I want. This is really the one I want you to read. This in here right here, down at the bottom and the top of this. Now this is the same thing almost.
So Larry, you amassed this information by yourself.
Yes.
You did your own research.
Now listen to this now. Listen to what he's gonna tell you this here. Read down in the top.
Potential disparities to admission. No published literacy sources were found to quantify potential disparities in outpatient dialysis admission barriers. However, the 2002 Involuntary Patient Discharge Survey found that patients discharged from dialysis facilities were likely to be young, male, and Black compared to the general dialysis population. The data was not analyzed to determine if there were disparities among patients who were identified as not being placed in new dialysis facilities, patients who potentially experienced barriers to admission, age, race, ethnicity, culture, gender, status, and comorbidity are often found in the literature related to other barriers to healthcare services.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's always the case. We had a comment. I think maybe one of your relatives, Larry, she said, "I thank God for you, my brother-in-law. You look great, not what you've been through." Judy Gillespie.
Yeah. Okay. Tell her thanks. Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I mean, Larry, we don't have much longer, but what's important is share. If somebody's watching this, and hopefully a lot of people will watch this after the broadcast, if they're in a similar situation, such as what you've been through, what would you suggest to them how they handle it? Say they just keeping their mouth shut and they just going through some experience, some unpleasant experience or unsettled, which, you know, here, there is not obvious, but it's happening. What could you suggest to someone dealing with such a situation like this?
First of all, you got to talk to your family members, let them know what's going on.
Wait a minute, Larry. I'm sorry. Hold that thought, because I want you to address this comment that someone said. Someone asked, I thought there's an ESRD network to advocate for patients. Can you share your experience about the ESRD? Because they don't really do anything.
They don't do anything.
But can you explain your experience? I mean, it looks like they do something, but they really don't.
It's all fake. Whatever I'll file a grievance. I had a choice to file a grievance with them. I filed it with the state. I filed it with the ESR network. They ended up going back to Davita and straightening it out with them on their side. So I got smart I'd seen they weren't doing anything. So I stopped filing grievance, going straight to the state. That's the only way I got anything done. ESR network, it's not hitting on anything. It's a waste of time. You know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know, they're really not. And
that's what I tell a lot of patients. When I sign them, they come in and I admit patients and we get to the grievance page and I explain that process to them because they want you, if you got anything wrong, they want you to start with the technician and then go up to the chain. But I tell them, look, go and call the state because all this up the chain and coming back down, it's nothing going to be done because, again, the ESRD, the network is going to pretty much side with the company because the company got money behind them. They got power.
It took me a while to figure that out. It took me a while, and I kept saying, "Why is it not getting done?" And I could tell they're talking to each other and solving it, you know. And I said, "Oh my God!" So I started going, and you ain't gonna believe this. There one time, I went to say, "Let me get a grievance form." They said they ain't have none.
And they're supposed to have it. And one more thing, Larry, and I want to let you say what people should do if they find themselves in a situation. A little known sidebar: the American Kidney Fund. The American Kidney Fund, right, pays patients who may lose job or whatever, and they got to pay like the insurance, the copay. They got private insurance. You know, the American Kidney Fund will pay premiums for patients so they can continue the COBRA. But for a lot of people, they don't know American Kidney Fund gets their money from Davita and Fresenius. They get millions. It's like they get millions of dollars so the patients can keep the private insurance so they can keep billing them 10 times more than they, get from Medicare. So it's like it's almost like they laundering money to these guys so they could pay their premium. And then on the top, while they're paying the premium, they still got the private insurance. Now they're billing the private insurance for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a treatment. Man, it's a big racket, and I'm here to say it. I mean, you just got to research and look at it. But it's ridiculous. But Larry, that's another topic for another time. But if someone's in that situation that you found yourself in, give us some suggestions on how they should handle it.
Like I said, you don't keep it to yourself. Let a family member know what's going on, and document everything. And because they'll scare you. And like when they was doing things to me, they was not only harming me, they was harming the patients next to me, because they're threatening me and letting them know that, hey, this can happen to you too, we can throw you out, we can do the same thing to you. And it's a shame how, and I question them, I say, well, why would you talk and act like that's toward me in front of other patients? And they still kept on doing it, and it's a shame. Just take notes. And even when I went to court, oh no, I know, not when I went to court, when I had a meeting with them, with Davita, I had to go to Raleigh, me and my attorney, after they tried to settle. They questioned me, why did I take pictures of everything? I say, why not? Why did I take notes? I say, why not? Trying to act like I planned this, and I say, no, this is what you do. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to document everything. And that's what I learned. I've been learned how to do this stuff, and do research, but please, I can show you, this is what I showed you. This is what I have everything documented. Everything documented. All my medical
Wow.
records, everything.
Man, that look like a category. Like you got everything categorized.
Everything categorized, the time, dates, everything.
I swear, I be telling patients on some of my lives to document everything. What your blood pressure was, if the machine clotted, what day it clotted, if you got your blood back, if you didn't, because at some point it could come to be a critical piece of information.
And you can ask them for your copy of your flow sheet. That's got to document. Everything is on the flow sheet, So just get everything documented.
Oh, Larry, tilt your camera down. We kind of lost you there.
I say,
there you go.
I'm sorry. Just ask for a flow sheet. Your flow sheet, how you ran that day. Your
right. So Larry, let me ask you. So when you said you got to get an attorney, what did you do? Because I've known some people to reach out to me and ask if I knew a lawyer. What, you just went through the phone book? How did you find this particular lawyer?
The first attorney I had my case for 3 months, and he tried to get me to settle. And the thing about me, I never want to settle, because if I sell it, that means they weren't found wrong. You see, it's that just to settle for money. My point was, I wanted to go to court to prove they were wrong, negligence. Because it wasn't about the money. It was about them being wrong. You can settle out of court, but once you settle out of court, that means that they don't have to admit that they were wrong.
Right.
And I wouldn't fall for that.
Right.
And then, so they dropped me. They dropped me. Then I found this attorney I got, who I went to court. But he died. I found him in Wilmington, but he died right after he deceased after my case was over, because we was gonna go to federal court. We was gonna file another claim to go to federal court.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Larry, right here.
Oh, yeah, my front. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you good.
Mm-hmm.
So, Larry, one question, because you mentioned something about when you sign the documents, you signing your life away. That's kind of a comment that you made. So, look, what I want to know, how do you find this different from the situation that happened with you? It says in this consent form that I have been informed that the following risks are associated with hemodialysis, and that while such risks are not common, one or more can occur and be potentially life-threatening. And then one of them is clotting of my access or infiltration of my access. So in your case, they didn't just infiltrate or mess up your arm, they used a wrong needle.
Right. Correct.
And so that wouldn't apply to this.
No.
Wow.
I've been infiltrated. I've been infiltrated more than a lot of times.
Infiltrate, right?
Infiltrated a lot of times. But this it's like taking a nail, anything dull, and just pushing it through your skin and through your veins.
Yeah, let's show these pictures one more time, Larry. That's the result of using a buttonhole needle.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're watching this and you go to outpatient hemodialysis, please know what size needle you use. Do you use the 17, 15, 14, or 16 gauge? No blunt needles. Then it's a side view. And so now, Larry, as I understand,
oh, shit.
There you go. Okay. Now that I understand, you use a catheter now.
Yes. And I've been using a catheter for 6 years.
6 years?
6 years. And I read up on this, and it's crazy because I'm looking at, I was doing studies on stuff. They saying, really, you don't supposed to have them in for about a month, if that long. But this here, I'm gonna put my shirt up, y'all. This here has been in my chest for 6 years. No needles.
Wow. And see, I'm glad you said that, because you will have some patients who will say that their clinic has come up to them and tried to convince them to get their catheter pulled and get an access right after just starting dialysis. They get some patients to try to get the catheter pulled out and get a AV fistula when they may not be ready to do so at that time.
Can I tell you this? I've had about 4 or 5 fistulas in each one of my arms.
Wow.
That's why I got this, because each one ended up getting infiltrated, or just infected. And that's in each arm. I done had 4 of them each. So the last time, 6.5 years ago, when I got this perm calf, I said, that's it. And
right.
It didn't work. It didn't work at right. I get little clots and stuff. But then I figured out what to do. I can't explain.
Right.
I can't go into details.
Oh, no,
Only a few of my friends know what I do.
Right.
And but it worked. It's been working. It may stop tomorrow. And if it do, I'll get one on the other side, I guess. But it's been working over 6 years. And
that's awesome.
I don't have to worry about no needles and none of this mess, but
we had a comment from Lady Stringler. Thank you for watching the show. She says at my clinic, they push to remove the catheter. A lot of clinics, they push patients to get the catheters out because of they probably get reimbursed a little more don't have a lot of, catheters in their unit, and reduce the infection rate, prone to that. So, I was told to choose another access point because my catheter can't stay in long. And see, some people may not be ready. If they just get diagnosed with kidney failure, you got to start dialysis.
You got to start with one. Yeah.
You got to, you're getting adjusted to that. Now they coming to you and want you to get surgery on your arm, and you prove, like you said, you had your catheter for 6 years, so that debunks the theory. I know everybody's different, but and I know patients who have catheters in for long periods of time, so it kind of debunks the theory that yes, you can get an infection if you're not watchful and protecting that area. And people who are changing that catheter, if they're not practicing infection control practice, washing their hands, changing their gloves, because a lot of times the patient doesn't touch that when they go home. If they go to outpatient, they leave it alone.
Exactly.
It's the staff when they hook it up and clean the site. Are they changing the gloves? Are they washing their hands? Do they got the mask over the nose? Because we got staph at the bottom of our nasal flares. So that's why they don't want us to be breathing over the site if it's uncovered. So if they're not practicing good infection control procedures, then that leads or can lead to infecting the patient as far as the catheter. So
in my case, it's a little gel pack that come with them, and that's what I was using at first. And
the bio patch.
Yeah, but I don't use it. I stopped using it because it's irritable. So I have them to take and clean it with what's the orange stuff? I can't think of the name.
What you talking about? Chloroprep?
Yeah, not that one, but
chlorhexidine.
Yeah, and alcohol, and dry it. Make sure it's dry, and then you put a thing over it, or what you call them?
The
dressing over it, and it stays dry. As long as it stays dry, you're good.
You're right.
That's the way that's how mine run.
Right.
As long as it keep dry, and I don't mess with it, And when they're changing it, they use these special gloves. They don't use regular gloves. It's a package with special gloves they have to put on, and they use to put this on.
Okay. So Larry, as we close out the show, man, what do you want to leave with the people watching about your story? I mean, what do you want them to know about your experience and dealing with a situation like this? What do you want these people to know?
It's what we all need to do. We need to look into it. People need to look into why that when we get blackballed or put out of a facility, that's in our life, because it should be a law, or the government should jump in and say, hey, we can't let these people die. We can't let them go to the streets to die. If it's an ER or procedure need to be changed, it should be say, hey, if you get kicked out, if you need to get your treatment. We have to set it up to get treatment. I'll put a government facility in, because when we get kicked out to the streets, that's it. That's in our lives. We're not gonna live long. Just ain't gonna live long if you don't get your treatment. And a lot of people are already depressed being on dialysis, and then you get kicked out, and that's it. That's it. You that's all you worry about. You're not worrying about eating. You're not worrying about nothing, but you start feeling bad. And congestion heart failure is not a joke. You trying to breathe and you can feel a rattling coming up. That time when I had 16 pounds of fluid on me, and they rolled me out the door, I was about to give up. I really was. I was about ready to give up. And then it came to my mind. I said, hell,
that's crazy for them to roll you out the door.
And I say, well, and I thought about it. I said, well, hell, maybe if I go commit a crime, I can live. Because either commit a crime and go to jail and get dialysis, or don't do anything and just die.
Wow.
And it's kind of crazy, but that's what we are left up to right now. You get put out. Even when if you go to the ER, only, and I found this out, only a nephrologist can sign to get you dialysis treatment. And if there are nephrologists out there, and if they say no, they're not going to sign for you to get the treatment, you're not going to get no treatment. If your nephrologist drop you, it's up to you to try to find a nephrologist. But 9 times out of 10, you'd have been blackballed. He already know you're looking for somebody, a doctor, a nephrologist. He's not going to mess with you because they don't blackball you saying that you're a problem. So guess what? You gone. You're gone. It's gone. Right. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
I agree.
And I think it's a law. Somebody need to look into it, need to get to the media. And like I tell you about this study right here, this ESRD network study they done. And when I done a video on Facebook and put it out there, They snatched it off the internet. You cannot Google this. You cannot find this.
Right.
I got hard copy of it. I sent you a hard copy of it.
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
And they don't want people to know this. They don't want people to know this. You know, and it's a shame. I feel sorry for them. And hell, I may go back tomorrow. They may throw me out tomorrow. I don't know. I don't care at the point no more.
Right.
You know,
right.
I do care, but you know, it's a shame. But somebody need that we look at all this other stuff going on. And when I was going to court and the media wouldn't handle this, well, I'm looking at TV, they got TV cameras talking about a cat up in the tree and all this stuff. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Right,
like
right.
That, you know what I mean?
No,
so
I get it.
Here, I'm about to die and going to court trying to fix it, trying to get to show that what's happened to me can happen to their family members, you know. But
no, it can happen to anyone.
Davita said, no, don't do this. Y'all better not tell nobody this, you know.
Wow.
It's crazy, you know. So it's, I mean, you know, it don't make no sense. And a lot of my friends know what I went through. A lot of friends and family know what I went through.
Right.
Even though, you know, people don't know me, they don't know what I went through, but a lot of my family and friends know what I went through. And a lot of stuff I still didn't tell them, you know, because it's really depressing, you know. I had a sister that died from dialysis. I had a niece that died from dialysis. I had an older brother that died from dialysis, you know. I got so many friends. I got afraid. This is no lie. I got people who are on dialysis I don't even want to be friends with because I know they're not going to be here long. You know, and that's a sad feeling. He gonna be, but most of them are gone. Most of them are gone, especially if they're at a Davita at the center, at a facility.
Right.
They're gonna be gone. It's simple as that. They're gonna be gone. They're not gonna get the treatment as you get as nurses looking after you. It just ain't the same. It's just ain't the same. Totally different.
All right, Larry. I'm going to go ahead and end the show, but I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And I'll definitely be reaching out to you to, you know, see how you doing and everything like that.
Okay. Thanks, man. Thanks for everything, bro.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for sharing your story, Larry. You definitely, man, got your story out there, and hopefully it will help someone else who may be going through the same situation or similar.
One thing I ask is, please, man, we need to get somebody in legislation to look into this, bro. You know, somebody need to look into what happened. Just ask them what happens to us when we get kicked out. And let them answer that damn question. You know, where do we supposed to go? Just walk over to the graveyard? Because that's the next thing. Ain't nobody get no treatment. A prisoner will get treatment. They'll save a prisoner life. You know, so what are we supposed to do? Let them answer that question, you know?
No, I agree. I agree.
Because I'm getting a little upset, man. Okay.
All right, Larry. Okay. All right, we'll be in touch. All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, man.
Hey, take care of yourself.
Y'all. Thank y'all for listening.
All right, man. Thank you. All right. All right, man. Bye-bye. So, guys, I mean, you heard it for yourself. It wasn't no third party. Me saying talking about blackball and referring to him. You heard it from the person who experienced the situation. Now, before I go, I just want to answer a question. Hey, Mila, how you doing? Happy holiday to you and your family. She says, Steve, I have a question about if the kidney, heard that the Kidney Foundation can help pay their Medicaid. I haven't heard that. I only heard that they only give every year like a little stipend, about $200, I believe, each year. And you got to apply for, go through some red tape paperwork. But I haven't heard of them help pay the Medicaid, not unless this is something new. But hey, Lady Stringer, thank you for watching the show. I see some new people come on. I want to thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. be watching out for more incredible shows. I want to thank Lady Strigler, Joyce Joyner, Mrs. Judy Glaspie, Steve Graham, Coach Tierra Johnson, Sulamita, my man Lamont, Patrice Jefferson, and pretty much, Miss Ellen. And that's pretty much it. Miss Pamela Raspberry, Miss Lena, and I saw Kathy Mullen in there, Miss Elizabeth, Jim Myers, Miss Lena, Gwen Dyson, Izzy Sterling, Gwen, Camille, Kathy, Coach Jonathan, Josie, Rosie. And if I didn't get you, thank you guys. I definitely appreciate it. It's a great show. Thank you for engaging. Really appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Lady String. I appreciate it. Patsy, Bryce, Spencer. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Sulamita, absolutely. Hope everything is well with you and the family. Thank you, Lionel. Appreciate you joining as well. Steve, thank you for your continued support. So, okay, guys, I'm out. Again, please definitely subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook page. See you guys probably Friday. I got to work. So, I don't know, maybe on for New Year's Eve. We'll see. But until then, guys, take care. God bless you. Stay safe. Be careful out there. COVID is still out there. And if, you deal with any type of health condition, please be safe and mask up. God bless. See you guys later. Peace.
Warriors around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fogging up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't called gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my sweat, put on the beat, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between. Know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rep, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm running chains for the fame. Never thought I would it, now I'm running